Welcome, everybody, to another one of our wonderful podcasts for our Africa Travel, which Ali and Storm have put together. I must say we have to give them 10 out of 10 for arranging and agreeing to interview a whole lot of inspirational people in the tourism and wildlife realm who do amazing conservation work. But today we've got a winemaker. This is not a tourism person, but Emma and I go back 40 years. I remember when she was working in Savuti camp and we were young bucks running around Botswana. There was Emma running the most efficient camp in the most horrendous conditions. I mean, I remember her as this extraordinary woman who could do anything in the middle of nowhere in spite of everything. And those are the days when literally it was real pioneering stuff. And out in the middle of nowhere, there was Emma creating absolute peace and harmony. So lovely to see you again. I see you on a regular basis drinking your wines and stuff. So folks, why are we talking to people about conservation and different products? And our key thing is that we've got so many issues on our plate to deal with wildlife conservation and climate change. And we all have to start making a difference. And here's an example of a company who's deliberately gone out and making sure that their company makes a difference to the planet. And it's this whole 1% for the planet started by Patagonia. And I think we need to build on that, because if we don't get involved with conservation and looking after the climate change and all the rest of it, each and every one of us, if we don't do it, we're not going to give our great-grandkids something. So Emma, welcome. We want to hear about Painted Wolves Wines. And yeah, tell us, how did it start? How did you get involved?
Well, it's wonderful to be here, Colin. Thank you. And thank you, Ali, for the opportunity. So nice to be here. So, yeah, the seeds of Painted Wolf Wines were planted over 30 years ago, when my wanderlust and hospitality background led me from England to Botswana in the 90s. And the moment I stepped off the plane, I just fell in love with Africa. And it led me to 5 incredible years in Savuti running Lloyd's Camp, which was, well known in its day. Rustic, amazing experience. Very different from what guests would put up with today, I think. So, during this time, Jeremy was persuaded to take a sabbatical from the wine industry. And it seemed like very shortly after this, we were standing under an acacia tree in Savuti, making a pact to one day give back to conservation, knowing no idea how we were going to do it. And the actual winemaking journey started in Paarl in 2005 with 5 barrels of Syrah. And from there, we were just hooked. So they say to make a small fortune in the wine industry, you must start with a large fortune. And that was something we didn't have. So we crowdfunded and we built our pack through collaborations and partnerships, which have just been fundamental to our business and just keep continuing.
Fantastic. And I want to get to, let's talk money, because conservation without cash, as we keep saying, is a conversation. So here you got your wine business. You started with almost nothing. How much cash has Painted Wolves and yourself raised for conservation through wine? What's your number?
So it's $210,000, about 14 million rand. Sorry, 4 million rand. Whoops.
By chipping away a little portion of every bottle of wine sold, you put it aside and you make it happen. 210,000 US, not Zimbabwe dollars, US dollars. How wonderful. Well, take a bow. I mean, there's a classic example, a perfect example of somebody who's just taking their business, and it's amazing how little bit by little bit, and where did you funnel that money?
So we started actually approaching the Botswana Predator Conservation Trust, having run a lodge in Botswana. That seems common sense. And it was quite complicated to be able to give money away. The Reserve Bank of South Africa wouldn't allow us to just donate money. So we had to find a different way of working, and we came to work with Tusk Trust, based in the UK. I know many people know of them. Amazing organization. Our funds were channeled specifically to, or are channeled to African wild dog projects in Zimbabwe and Botswana. And soon after that, we started supporting the Endangered Wildlife Trust in South Africa, specifically, again, the Wild Dog Range Expansion Project. So their whole mission is to reintroduce packs into viable habitats where they once occurred. And, it's very sad that they're now extinct in 25 of the 39 African countries where they previously lived. So they need a lot of help. And then most recently, the Painted Wolf Foundation, who fund projects all over Africa. So it's been a journey. One particularly memorable project for us was that we funded the air transport of a pack of wild dogs from South Africa all the way to Malawi. And they'd actually been extinct for over 25 years. So that was really an incredible milestone.
And that was with African Parks.
Yes. And DWT. Yeah. A whole collaboration.
Fantastic. So we one of the interviews for this podcast series has been African Parks, one of our absolute heroes. But but that's a great example because so many people say, well, what can I do? Okay, one thing you can do in the travel channel is you can raise money. You can do the 1% or 1.5%, whatever it is. You can put it out there. And then generally we recommend that you channel it through NGOs, but quality NGOs who are doing good on the ground. So, I mean, Emma, you got the perfect thing because for many businesses, you're far away and you can't go and do the actual conservation, but choose the NGO you support and let them do the work. And you monitor them. As you say, you watch your wild dogs heading up to Malawi. Fantastic. So tell me more about your actual wines. What's special about them? What do you produce?
Yeah, so we have quite a large range of wines. We all of our ranges are talk about the African wild dog, as do our labels. We have been their ambassadors for 18 years and will continue doing that. So the Den range is named after the heart of any wild dog community where they den down and have their pups. So these are really delicious, approachable wines, food friendly, something like Chenin Blanc or Pinotage, Sauvignon Blanc, and we've got quite a range there. Then we've got our pack range, and these are our more premium wines, handcrafted, and these are named after an inspirational African wild dog for many different reasons. So we have like a Lightning Sauvignon Blanc and a Solo Roussanne and a Darius Carignan. So, and they've all got stories linked to filmmakers or, just Lightning had an amazing stripe on his coat, so he could be really well identified by the public in Kruger National Park. And, pre the days of collars, it was very helpful to know that they had actually seen that dog there because he was very obvious. And then our premium range is Lycaon pictus. This is the scientific name for the African wild dog, which explains our name, Painted Wolf Wines. So Lycaon meaning wolf, pictus meaning painted. So it pulls together the whole story of what's in a name. And this is our flagship collection. They are from single vineyards and some from heritage vineyards. And I'm talking about endangered vines and endangered wild dogs because the Lycaon Chenin Blanc comes from 50-year-old vines in Wellington and is part of the Old Vine Project because these old vines also need protecting to preserve their heritage.
Wonderful. And the tourism industry, why must the tourism industry talk to you? What can we do together as an industry? How can we partner with you?
Yeah, so, Painted Wolf Wines is more than just a wine brand. It's a chance for any of you to contribute to wildlife conservation in Africa. I mean, by just drinking our wines and pouring them to your guests. And by doing that, by integrating our wines into your offerings, you're supporting sustainability, local economies, and giving your guests a really impactful experience. Whether it's a luxury lodge in the Serengeti or a boutique hotel in Cape Town, the guests love that it starts a story. They start questioning, why is it called this? What's this about? I've been working on building Painted Wolf Wines as a premium brand in the safari tourism industry for many years. I hope many of you have enjoyed our wine at some of the shows. And this collaboration with our Africa Travel it's a great example of how we work together to promote sustainable tourism and conservation with the industry. And I think this is a really wonderful way of letting us tell you our story. And we very much hope we can do it together, just one glass at a time.
And you mentioned Serengeti. I mean, do you have distributors in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Botswana, Namibia, and all the rest of it?
Yes.
Are your wines readily available for the operators to buy in those countries?
Very, very much. So yes, we'd love businesses to, integrate them both physically and in marketing strategies. So yeah, we've got distributors all over Africa, so it's very easy to stock. And it's always very easy to work with a sub distributor. So it really is doable wherever you are. Even if you think you're very, very remote, you'll be surprised how that path will get to you. So yeah, I mean, it's for you to introduce our wines to your guests, and it starts a conversation. Whether you host a wine tasting or do a wine pairing event, we'd love for you to send our guests to our tasting den, which is on the Paul Franchuk Road. Also a very unique space. It's made out of old concrete wine tanks, which, feels a little bit like a wild dog den with a bit of imagination. And then again, gifting with purpose, for thank yous, for celebrations, corporate gifts. It's just really makes a gift that people go, wow, that means something.
So if you're in the winelands, you've got on the Paul Franchuk Road.
Yes.
I mean, is it wine tasting, or can you serve meals? Do you serve meals there at all or not?
So we do a beautiful locally sourced cheese platter with olives, and people just love wine and cheese.
So you're in the route, pop in, have a sample, get some cheese, and off you go. All right, fantastic.
Yes.
and looking into the future, where's Painted Wolves? Where's Emma going?
Yeah, well, it's quite a sort of landmark year. It's 18 years. And I really believe we've got to a new level of maturity in both our growth and our industry impact. I'm seeing more and more pieces of the jigsaw puzzle coming together. We've just done an amazing collaboration partnership with Jordan Wines to also join forces, work together, and make an even bigger and lasting impact on wildlife conservation. So that's very, very, very exciting. We're actually we moved from our cellar into their cellar, and wines are bubbling away as we speak. Grapes looking beautiful.
Yeah. Have you started harvesting yet?
Yeah, we started 2 weeks ago, and it's been boom, boom, boom. They've been coming in very quickly.
Wonderful.
And yeah, looking beautiful.
Emma, you're a star. You're an inspiration for all of us. And it's an inspiration. I hope that everybody realizes everybody can make a huge difference. Throughout this podcast, you can just pick out just one person with a determination can make a big difference. And it's cash. Conservation without cash is a conversation. We desperately need it. So Emma, Painted Wolves, we wish you lots of well. My name's Colin Bell, Natural Selections. Wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Colin. That was great. Bye.